To my audience, the college students struggling to afford an education, those who have graduated and remember the costs or are still paying off loans, those with children who are fearful about how they'll finance their education, today's speech is for you. This speech is to explain why a tuition-free college education in the United States is both possible and needed, and how you could help to make it a reality. In a recent review from the Center for American Progress, we find that in the last 35 years, the cost of tuition at public universities has quadrupled. For many Americans, college is not an option due to financial hardship. I've been fortunate enough to receive loans and support which allow me to get an education. However, even then I feel the struggle of financing my education. So what about those who can't get loans and support? Are they kept out of the academic world, unable to learn and grow? Education is a right. It's immoral to deny education to those who cannot afford it. And through a government-subsidized model implemented successfully in several other countries worldwide, free college could be a reality. College education should be tuition-free for those who are academically qualified to attend. The high cost of tuition prevents students from attending college. However, a free tuition plan by the government is possible. Getting more students to go to college with free tuition would benefit our country as a whole and improve the economy in the long run. First, let's discuss why tuition costs are such a barrier for students. Students may be steered away from education due to costs. By the age of 26, 12% of high school student graduates have failed to enroll in a 2- or 4-year university. Of this 12%, many tend to come from the lower end of the socioeconomic scale. This is according to a new analysis from the National School Board Association's Center for Public Education. In a quote from this analysis, we find that 2/3 of those who do not end up enrolling in college believed during high school that college was in their future, but realities like high price of college often impeded this goal. But you might be saying, well, that's only 12%. What about those who do enroll in college? Well, students enrolled in college may not be able to finish due to financial stress experienced throughout. According to an article by eLearners, students who receive financial backing from family members have a 63% graduation rate. This is exceeding the 42% of those who graduate who paid for college on their own. In another article by Aaron Lamb of Nonprofit Quarterly, we find that despite the growing need for increased education and advanced degrees to secure jobs, only 59% of students who begin college as a freshman at a 4-year university receive their diploma within 6 years. Students who come from a low-income background are even less likely to graduate, if they even begin at all. So now that we understand there is a real need for free education, let's discuss how we can make it happen here in the United States. Several other countries have successfully implemented a free education model. According to a review by College Rank, although the U.S. cost of tuition has skyrocketed over the years, several countries have currently implemented free tuition for higher education at public universities. This includes, but it's not limited to, Norway, Finland, France, and Germany. This model could be implemented in the United States as well successfully. In that same valuable review from College Rank, we see that $60 billion in tuition was collected from grad and undergrad students at public colleges. This was in 2012. $77.68 billion of that, or more than that, was spent on non-loan educational aid for 2012. Of the $42.5 billion of 2012 grants, $35 billion was for Pell Grants, most of which already go to state schools already. The gist then is that federal government is already spending the money that could be used to subsidize free tuition. Were they to instead award all of that non-loan money to public colleges, who educate over 3/4 of American students, that amounts to free tuition. Another piece of evidence. In his book, Why Public Education Should Be Free, the president of the University Council of the American Federation of Teachers points out that states put in billions of dollars into education as well. So he hypothesizes that were the resources, meaning money here, being spent on education at 2 levels of government instead of 1 in a more effective manner, tuition for public institutions could essentially be free. Now, some may say that tuition-free college is impossible, or it would take impossible taxes away from the American people. But the model that I just pointed out really proves that that's not true. It is possible to implement it here in the U.S. successfully. Now that we've seen how free education might be implemented, let's examine some of the benefits of the investment. Firstly, more college graduates means more skilled workers and educated entrepreneurs to boost the United States economy. In a study by David Bergeron of the Center for American Progress, he finds that by 2020, 65% of all jobs will require bachelor's or associate degrees or some other education beyond high school, particularly in the fastest growing occupations. Although the U.S. economy is demanding workers with increasing levels of education beyond high school, the post-secondary graduation rate hasn't really changed much. So what he's saying is that we have a larger need for postgraduates, but our rate hasn't really changed. And at the same time, the postgraduate rates in other countries who do have free education implemented is actually increasing. So if we could implement this plan, we could increase our rate to match our needs. Now, we've discussed why we need free college, how to do it, and its benefits. Now let's discuss what you can do about it. As a United States citizen, you have the power to influence politics on this issue. I encourage all of you to research for yourself the points and sources I've mentioned. With more knowledge on the benefits of free education, you can better persuade our government to enact such a plan. Write a letter to your congressperson. Hold an awareness event. Vote in favor of candidates and legislation which support free education. There are many things you can do to positively impact the future education costs in the United States. Educational costs that prevent students from attending college, but by implementing a subsidized tuition plan similar to that of other countries, we can boost our enrollment in higher education and positively benefit the economy and leadership of the United States. If I've persuaded you in favor of this idea, I encourage you to do more research on the topic and get involved politically to shape the future.